Happy sunny Sabbath day to everybody. Hope everyone out there in the internet is doing well, and welcome to our services. Well, in 1969, a really good thing happened. Well, I was born that year, but that's not what I'm talking about. The Hollies released a song called "He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother." In songfacts.com, it states the title came from the motto for the Boys Town, a community formed in 1917 by a Catholic priest named Father Edward Flanagan, located in Omaha, Nebraska. It was a place where troubled or homeless boys could come for help. In 1941, Father Flanagan was looking at a magazine called The Messenger when he came across a drawing of a boy carrying a younger boy on his back. The caption, "He ain't heavy, mister, he's my brother." Father Flanagan thought that the image and phrase captured the spirit of Boys Town, so he got permission and commissioned a statue of the drawing with the inscription, "He ain't heavy, Father, he's my brother." The statue and phrase became the logo for Boys Town. I'm going to read through the words of the Hollies song, "He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother." The song was written by Bob Russell and Bobby Scott. It starts, "The road is long, with many a winding turn, that leads us to who knows where. But I'm strong enough to carry him. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. So on we go. His welfare is of my concern. No burden is he to bear. We'll get there, for I know he would not encumber me. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. If I'm laden at all, I'm laden with sadness that everyone's heart isn't filled with gladness of love for one another. It's a long, long road from which there is no return. While we're on the way to there, why not share? And the load doesn't weigh me down at all. He ain't heavy, he's my brother." This song has deep meaning, and because this was released in 1969, many Vietnam veterans had clung on to this song because of the despair that comes with war and the ties that bind the troops together and the things that have to get each other through. And as Christians, we must, at our core, exhibit the example of this song. This song exhibits love in action. In John 13, verses 34 through 35, just reference this. "By this shall all men know that we have love for one another." So let's consider the love in action described in this song. Verse 1, the theme is not knowing where you have to go while helping our brother or sister, but helping them anyways. Do we have limits on where we will go to help somebody? This is describing helping someone even though we don't know the extent of the help needed. In verse 2, the theme is loving a person with his or her welfare in mind. That helping the person is not burdensome to us, even to the point that we do not feel the weight of helping them. In verse 3, the theme is the only feeling of sadness is sadness that everyone's heart isn't filled with love for one another. The verse then goes on to describe that the long roads that we walk are better when we share the load with one another. The load is much easier to carry when we help each other. You know, it is very easy to love those others and actually help them when it is convenient for us to do so. And not hindered, it doesn't hinder our life, it's convenient for us. But when we show the love of Christ for others, we will lay down our life for them, even when it is inconvenient. Let's turn to 1 John. In 1 John chapter 3, and we'll read verse 16 through 18. 1 John 3:16. We know love by this, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whosoever has the world's goods and sees his brother in need and closes his heart against him, how does the love of God abide in him? Little children, let us not love with word or with tongue, but in deed and truth. Loving and serving and helping others is extremely important to our Father and Jesus Christ. When Christ returns, how will he judge people? In Matthew 25, it gives us a clue, and I'm not going to read through it. It's a lengthy scripture. But in Matthew 25, verses 31 through 40 scripts, it lists several different things where Christ says, when I was hungry, you did this to me. You fed me. When I was in need, you did this for me. When I didn't have any clothes, you gave me clothes. When I was sick. And the disciples told Christ, they asked him, when did we do this? You weren't in this position. And he said, well, when you've done it to all these other people, you've done it to me. So I often ask myself, and many times I fail at this, and I try not to, but I ask myself, have I fed those who are hungry or thirsty? Have I made others feel welcome? Have I provided for those who have little or none? Have I visited or helped those who are sick? How about someone in prison? Have I visited them? Jesus was very clear in this set of scriptures that when we did these things to our brothers and sisters and strangers, we did the same to him. And more importantly, if we do not do these things to other people, we are not doing it to Christ. Let's turn over to Romans 12 as we start to close here. It seems like in the past few years there's been so much trial and tribulation that all of us have gone through. And we know that we need to draw on each other's strength and be there for each other. And this scripture was, I thought was really good that we should focus on. Hebrews 12, verse 10 through 13. Starting off in verse 10. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Give preference to one another in honor. Not lagging behind in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Rejoicing in hope. Persevering in tribulation. Devoted to prayer. Contributing to the needs of the saints, practicing hospitality. I know all of us have relied on each other for our prayers and strength through all the trials that we've gone through. Well, so the next time you turn on that oldies station on your car while you're driving somewhere, and you hear the song, He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. I hope that it will stir our hearts and our minds to make sure that we are showing the love of Christ by laying down our lives to help others. We all know the road is hard. Sometimes, honestly, it's very hard. Will we be there to help carry the load for each other? And when we do, will we have the heart to not be burdened by sharing the load?